The Standard with Joe.
The Nasty 9 takedown shows why you need to be more cautious in taking care of your children. Harford County MD, according to WBFF, Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gawler said that at a recent undercover sting that focused on identifying and arresting child predators as a part of Takedown with Chris Hansen has resulted in the arrest of 9 men from across Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. As part of the month-long operation, Gawler said his detectives engaged in online conversations with dozens and dozens of people, resulting in the arrest of 9 men from across 3 states who Gawler called the Nasty 9. There may be some stronger words we can use for these types of men. Gawler said each suspect believed they were meeting up with an underage boy or girl for the purpose of sexual activity. Each of the suspects was met by Hansen and a Harford County deputies and were taken into custody. Rightfully so. One of the suspects, Nicholas Fountain of Collegeville, Pennsylvania, was found to be the owner of 2 daycare centers in Pennsylvania. Stop right there. You mean that there was a man who was in charge of 2 daycare centers? The owner of 2 daycare centers? Who went to go have some type of perverted pleasure with a minor? How did this guy get in the place where he's at? What types of things do you think he's doing in these daycares? That makes me really concerned about the children in these daycares. And it just goes to show you, you can't trust everybody. You can't trust everybody. So many parents nowadays, the dad works a job and the mom wants to work a job too. She doesn't want to work the job of staying home and raising up the kids as dad goes and gets the food. Dad goes and makes the money and pays the bills and does this. She wants to go and do her own job as well. And there's a place for women to have work and to do jobs. But if you're a woman and you have children, your primary job is to protect them, nurture them, as even most of nature shows the same thing. And then the man's job is to provide for you and to take care of you and also take care of the children so that when he comes home, maybe you can have a break. But children were never meant to be left at a daycare. Children were never meant to be away from their parents 8 hours a day. They were meant to grow up with their parents, learn from their parents, be protected by their parents, guarded by their parents. But instead, so many of them are thrown into daycares. And I know not every daycare is going to be bad like this, but this guy owned 2 daycares. He was a child predator. I wonder how much he was preying on the children in his own daycares. It's just going to show you shouldn't let a stranger take care of your children. The person that can take care of your children the best, 99.999% of all people, is the parents. The parents who are supposed to step in, educate their children, teach their children about God and about important values, and bring them in a family relationship. Show your sons how to treat women and how to prepare to be godly, hardworking husbands, and show your daughters how to treat men and to be godly, pious, and honorable young women who will also work hard with their hands, just like the men. There's so much more value to raising your children yourself. I was blessed to be raised in a homeschool family where I always had a parent around to teach me and to be with me. And of the homeschool families that I know, not all of them turned out perfect, but the vast majority of homeschoolers that I knew growing up, even though not all of them kept walking with God, they all stayed very successful. And they all became more upright and moral people in general. There's public schoolers that do the same thing. But you see in a homeschool community, there is an increase of hard work, an increase even of education. A lot of homeschoolers are very educated. Once again, It's not everyone. Not everyone does a good job homeschooling. But the children belong with their parents. They don't belong to the state. The children doesn't belong to the government. The children belong to you as a parent. So make sure you're the protector. You're the guardian. Sometimes it's best for one of the parents to step down from a job to commit to the full-time job of taking care of children. And hey, you won't have to pay the daycare anymore. Let's keep reading. Another suspect, Tyler DeVault in Gettysburg, Maryland, told the undercover officer he thought was a 14-year-old girl that he wanted to meet up with her and tried to figure out if she was a police officer. Gawler said that DeVault actually commented that they didn't want to see Chris Hansen from the show To Catch the Predator. They were waiting for him. Upon arrival to meet up location, Gawler said DeVault had a pizza box in hand when he was faced with Harford County deputies and Chris Hansen waiting for him. Fox 45 News. Matthew chapter 18 verse 6. But whosoever shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung about his neck, that's right, a rock were hung about his neck, and he were drowned in the depths of the sea. This is Jesus' opinion on child predators. People say, well, the Bible doesn't talk about it. It does. Jesus said it'd be better if they were thrown into the sea than to harm, than to offend a little child. Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable in the perfect will of God. You know, there's so many people that have so many temptations of a lot of different wild things. That goes from sexual temptations toward all sorts of things. But God can actually change your mind. God can change the way you think. So many people think, oh, this is just how I am. Hopefully not like these guys. But when it comes to other forms of sexual deviance, when it comes to other forms of sexual immorality as well, people think, oh, is this just who I am? Are these thoughts just me? It's not. And God brings you hope. God can change your heart. He can take that stony heart and make it flesh. He can take a hardened heart and bad habits and addictions, and he can turn it around and make you a new person. So don't think it's hopeless. I mean, hopefully you aren't dealing with the same issues that these guys are. But whatever you're going through, no, you can change. You're not always going to be the same. And as you conform yourself to Jesus, Jesus will change who you are.